Here are the Progressive News headlines for today. 1 in 5 people incarcerated in state and federal prisons has COVID. That's according to a new analysis from the Marshall Project and the Associated Press released on Friday, which says that the rate is more than 4 times as high as the general population. The data also showed that more than 1,700 prisoners have died from the virus. The data, this is new data. The analysis further noted that racial disparities in the nation's criminal justice system compound the disproportionate toll the pandemic has taken on communities of color. Black Americans are incarcerated at 5 times the rate of whites. Human rights groups and public health experts have been urging states to roll out plans for early release of prisoners. Over 200 health experts this month said that prison population reductions would save lives and help limit the spread of the virus to communities nationwide. You can go take some action at newsanctuarynyc.org/free them all to find out how you can take action to demand prisoners be released. Let's take a brief moment to comment here. Many prisoners, I don't think these people are not asking for the release of violent criminals who kill families of 5 on Christmas Eve. That's not what's being asked for here. It's people who have nonviolent records. People, some people are still in jail for breaking laws that are now not laws anymore. And I'm talking about drug offenses in places where, the drug laws have changed. They're still in jail. It's legal what they did now. Absolutely insane. So my question here is about this story. Aren't the private, and let's do some personal shaming here for this particular CoreCivic, aren't the private for-profit prison corporations concerned about the fact that all of these people may be dying in prison? How will they make their money if everybody dies? Will they just jail more immigrant children, or perhaps they'll start with debtors' prisons, since the crashing economy is making lots of those. And even though Bernie Sanders got everyone $600, that is really not enough for a pandemic that's going on for the better part of a year now and looks to be rolling on into our future. I would think that there would be a coalition of moneyed interests to try to stop COVID from spreading in the prisons, including those people who work in the prisons. We have interviewed the union heads of I think when we were on WBAI, we interviewed the union head for I guess it was the guards union or something like that. And they are putting themselves at risk by the fact that they're allowing COVID to run rampant in prisons. So it's very important. We need to ban private prisons, first of all, but we also need to help people in prison to not have COVID. Go to that. Where was it? Here's a place you can go. newsanctuarynyc.org. Free them all. And I'm sure they have ones in other states that you can get to from there. In our second story, a Guantanamo Bay defense attorney is calling on the Biden administration to hold government officials accountable for their criminal policies and actions, which she says have seriously harmed U.S. national security and foreign relations. Alka Pradhan, Human Rights Counsel at the Military Commissions Defense Organization at Guantanamo Bay, published a Business Insider op-ed arguing that Biden should avoid perpetuating the culture of impunity at the top of leadership. She says this culture undoubtedly emboldened President Donald Trump to commit human rights crimes, both at home and abroad. She writes, and I quote, "Take it from someone who knows the corrosive effect of impunity. I represent tortured detainees at Guantanamo Bay, where the U.S. government has perpetuated human rights violations shrouded from public view for nearly 19 years. Very interesting. We haven't heard much about Guantanamo Bay because President tweets a lot, is always busy doing something crazy. But this is still happening. And it's been happening for decades. It's nice to have that at the beginning of the news cycle. It was good. She did a big service there. The American Civil Liberties Union says Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have a mandate now from the electorate to fight against mass incarceration And they're going to be giving them a to-do list for the first 100 days in office. It's nice when someone else puts together the to-do list, then you can just go and do it. The list includes issuing an executive order declaring an end to the war on drugs, directing federal prosecutors to no longer pursue drug cases, commuting the sentences of people serving time for drug-related cases, and pardoning people with past criminal convictions for drug. Sorry about that. Anyway, pardoning people with past criminal convictions for drug-related offenses. It calls on the administration to rein in police violence by requiring all police departments to adhere to common sense limitations and best practices based on principles of necessity, proportionality, and de-escalation. Wouldn't that be nice? Also on the list is ending private prisons, which we just talked about, dramatically reducing pretrial detention, and ending the torture of solitary confinement. I'm Julianna Forlano. If you are watching us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and we'll be here tomorrow.